Hi there guys, Chatot here and welcome back to another top 5 video. So you guys voted on 3 different aminos which I'm a part of before we even get started, and the winner was, after all the voting, was the ghost type, which I am so glad because ghost types are my second favourite type out of everything. The reason I like them mostly is because I like the supernatural. I like ghost stories. I like the little horrors that they have behind them. And they are actually really a very mysterious type. So, without further ado, as per normal, this just a warning beforehand. This is just my opinion. This is all my opinion. I'm not very good at battling and stuff like that, so don't, like they say, this is just my favourites, okay? So this is all my opinion. Also guys, as per normal, I will put in the description of what I'm judging these guys on. Mainly it is sort of the looks, the sort of the story behind them, the way that I've used them in Nuzlocke and battle, and sort of possibly from a competitive point of view, but then again I'm not great at competitive, but there you go. Also, I forgot to mention in the last video, legendaries won't be in these videos. Oh, sorry. Legendaries won't be in these videos because I'm doing a separate list for them. So we will see what happens there. And the same, I'm going to try and keep starters out as well if I can, because they need to be in a separate list as well, in my opinion. Anyway, guys, without further ado, let's get on with it. Number 5. Number 5 is actually a fairly recent Pokemon from Gen 6, and it's Trevenant. Trevenant, I really like its design. It's scary looking. It's, oh, what type is it actually? There we go. Well, it's obviously a ghost type, but it's ghost grass. I thought it was. And I like the whole spirit of the forest vibe, and I have used it. It is bulky. It can be quite dangerous. I just like using it. I've used it in playthroughs and I've used it in my own personal Nuzlocke before. But the one thing I like about ghost types, like I said, are the stories behind them. So the Pokedex entries, like at the very, very beginning, is like Pokedex entry from X. It can control trees at will, and it will trap people who harm the forest so they never leave. You thought that was kind of bad. It gets worse in Sun and Moon. It gets way worse. This Pokemon is said to devour anyone who dares to rampage the forest. Devour. And in Moon, a deadly curse falls upon those who cut down the trees of the forest where Trevenants dwell. Just what? This tree spirit is hardcore, and that's kind of why I like it, and it reminds me of a local legend where I live as well. So that's why I like Trevenants for my number 5. Number 4 is a classic. Number 4 is from Gen 1, and it's Gengar, the original ghost type. The original ghost type Pokemon. The reason I like Gengar is I loved it. I loved its little tricks with its pals, Ghastly and Haunter, in the Pokemon anime. That's when I first saw it. And I like the creepiness of Lavender Town, and that's another reason why I like it. I never got to play with Gengar much because back in the day I didn't have many friends to trade with, so most of the time I used Haunter a lot. But I do have a Haunter, and I do occasionally use it. I would love to use it more. And then they made it oh god, they made it even look more fearsome when they gave it a Mega Evolution. It's crazy. And the amount I've seen, I haven't seen many in competitive that often, but don't get me wrong, when I see one, I'm pretty scared. I never know what to do. But it's the original ghost Pokemon, so it's got to be on this list somewhere, really. Number 3. Number 3 is I'm just trying to get the Pokedex entry up. Number 3 is Miss Magius. Miss Magius is from Gen 4. And Mistress, I think that's how you pronounce it, from Gen 2, I loved. And when they actually released another evolution for it, I went crazy. I love this witchy type ghost Pokemon that, like it says in its Pokedex entries, its cries sound like incantations, and those hearing it are tormented by headaches and hallucinations. I like that whole evil witchy kind of thing. It's a nice little gimmick, and it's got like a proper witch's hat on it, and it was in the anime, and it was really, really cool to see it. I haven't really used it much since Gen 4, to be honest, but I had to put it on this list because it's, when I think ghost type Pokemon, that's one of the Pokemon that comes in my head. And that's about it. It's more of a aesthetic thing and more of a spooky story thing for me than anything else. And I believe it's still relevant in today's competitive play. I'm not sure, but I'll probably use one in the future. I better use it again, really. Number 2. Number 2 is another sort of relatively new Pokemon, and that's Chandelure. Chandelure and Litwick line, I love. Some people, when they first saw it, didn't like the idea of more item related, but it was brilliant. And the thing is well, it's Pokedex entry. When I first caught one and read a Litwick Pokedex entry, it uses it's not just a candle. That light that it has on the top of its head, it's draining someone's life energy to keep itself alive. That's beyond creepy. That is really creepy. And Chandelure does like even more damage. It does even more damage, and here is why. It absorbs a spirit when, which it then burns by the waving of its flaming on its arms. It uses it to hypnotize its foes. So let's get this straight. How many flames has Chandelure got? How many? How many, you say? I actually can't remember, from the top of my head. It has 5. So it has 5 souls trapped that it's burning the energy from. Of past bad trainers, maybe? Maybe I shouldn't have one on my team. And that's another thing as well. It is fragile, but it's fast. It has got a couple of really good moves. I've used it mainly in making a competitive team. I love the creepy chandelier-y kind of design. I just love it so much, and I can't really explain any more of why I like it. Anyway, guys, before we get to number 1, why don't you tell me what your favourite ghost type is? Why don't you tell me what your list is? Or what do you think should have been on this list? Why don't you tell me in the comments below? And also, don't forget to hit the like button if you like the top 5, so I know whether the series should be continued and keep going on. And also, watch out for the next vote, so you guys can vote for the next type. So we'll have to go on to a minnow and actually have a look at that. Anyway, guys, to the number 1 spot. Now, the number 1 spot I love mainly for its looks, its creepiness, it's got its really good backstory, and I didn't know it existed in this gen until after, and I went hunting around for it. And this is a Gen 4 Pokemon. Now, I don't like Gen 4. I do and I don't. I like a couple of Gen 4 Pokemon. There were some really good Pokemon. But as a story and as a game, I didn't really like it that much. I'm more of a Gen 3 person. But this Pokemon brought just literally got my attention straight away, and that is Spiritomb. Spiritomb is creepy as hell. That menacing face it's got on the front of it, and its story is just horrifying. In the original game, which I believe was Diamond, Pearl and Platinum, it is found on Route 108. As its Diamond Pokédex entry says, a Pokemon that formed by 108 spirits and was bound to a fissure in an odd keystone. Pearl's entry mentions that it was punished for misdeeds 500 years ago. Oh, but it gets worse as well. What makes it even creepier is its defense and special defense are 108, keeping with the 108 theme. Now, I believe it's like evil spirit sort of thing being locked away for misdeeds rather than a Pokemon, but are they Pokemon spirits? Are they a load of ghastly that got really out of hand, or is it human spirits? Be a bit more, maybe it's 108 human spirits. But the other thing as well, not many people got to see it in Gen 4 because it was really hard to get, and you had to go online and you had to meet like a load of different, I can't remember how many players you had to meet to get it, but then you would unlock it on Route 108 and you have to go back and it would be there. So it was really quite a hard and mysterious Pokemon to get to start with. As for its battling, like I say, it's got 108 special defense and defense. It's bulky. It can do some damage and it could mess with somebody really badly if it really wanted to. And with it being Ghost Dark as well, that's a nasty little combination there. It has a lot of weaknesses, don't get me wrong, it's got some major weaknesses, but it's still a really scary Pokemon, and I still think it's really creepy and mysterious to this day, and I am actually planning to use one on a team eventually, because I love it. And then you've got its shiny form as well. Its shiny form looks amazing. I can't really say much more about it because it's just one of those Pokemon that just freaks me the hell out every time I see it, and it gives me chills when I hear the Pokédex entries from them. Anyway guys, that is my top 5 for the ghost types. Like I said before, why don't you leave a comment down below? What was your favourite ghost type? Have you got a list? Do you think I'm wrong? Like I say, these are my favourites, so what's yours? Also guys, don't forget, go on to the Pokemon and Minnows that I'm a part of, which is Pokemon Unleashed, Pikachu Battle and Trade, and the Pokemon and Minecraft one. And there will be some polls going up soon for you guys to choose the next type. What type do you think I should choose next? Why don't you go and vote there? Anyway guys, I have chatted on as per normal. I will see you in the next top 5. But also, before I go, why don't you check out my Pokemon Nuzlocke if you haven't had a try yet. My Pokemon Black Randomizer Quadlock and my Pokemon White Randomizer Skylock, as well as the last top 5, which is my top 5 favourite flying types. And also, why don't you check out my Minecraft stuff and my casual guest games? There's some really funny things there, as well as horror. If you're into horror, like you probably would be if you like your ghost types, why didn't you go and see like Mind's Eye and stuff? Because I was absolutely terrified in that. Like I say, anyway guys, I've chatted on enough as per normal, and I will see you in the next top 5. But remember guys, chat on!